Listen, y'all, I've been in a real content funk. And part of it is because December was bananas with sickness. Like, I got sick and had to cancel my trip. Y'all saw that story. And then, it was like a little cold. It wasn't bad. Truth be told, I probably should have went on my trip, but whatever. Okay, so got sick, right? And then I was still recovering, and my oldest son gets the stomach bug. And I'm like, nope. I have that like phobia of throwing up. I forget what it's called. Emetophobia? Something like that. So I'm like doing all the things to take care of him and be a mom, but also try my best not to catch this thing or let anybody else catch it. It was successful. Then the week before Christmas, my husband gets sick. He gets sick. He goes down for the count. Fever, chills, all the things. Not COVID, probably the flu. We didn't go get tested because I don't, whatever. And then I got some like mild symptoms, and I wasn't even totally over my first sickness. And so I have coughed for the entire month of December, and so have my children, so have my husband. And it's just been insane. In addition to all of that, December's just a crazy month. And I generally take off like the second half of December and part of January because my kids are home from school, and I just, don't feel like trying to like wrestle the mom and work side of life. And so it's just been insanely insane. So I wanted to come on here and do a Q&A. And I've already filmed this Q&A once and didn't like it. And so I'm recording it again. But I want to start, before I do the Q&A, I want to start with I just want to talk about how much I love my job. Like the fact that I get to create this content for a living, the fact that I made, multiple six figures, the most money I've ever made in my business last year, now that you're seeing this in 2022, by creating content, the fact that I got paid $90,000-ish from YouTube just for putting videos on the platform, beyond any other way I make money, all of that is, I love it so much. And in 2023, I'm going to embrace being a content creator even more than I have up until now. I think that's why I've been in a little bit of a creative or content rut, because I've told y'all, when you're thinking about creating content on YouTube or really any platform, you have to think about who is going to watch this? Who is on the other side of this that's going to watch this? And I know who you are. We've talked about this. I know this. I have no problem with that. My problem is loosening the reins. I have been on this platform since 2016 and have been this informational robot, right? Here's 5 ways to do this, and here's this thing to do that. And I've definitely loosened the reins a little bit over the last year, but I still, when I think of a video idea that's a little bit off kilter, a little bit not in those constraints, it freaks me out. And then I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And then I fight with myself. And then I have this internal struggle where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything because everything is freaking me out. I have a lot of goals in 2023, and I have a lot of things I want to work towards. And one of those is just being a better content creator in its truest form of the word. And another one of those is getting back to really healthy eating habits, because I have always been, not always, in the last 10 years, I have, I work out consistently and I don't eat terribly, but I also don't eat the best I've ever eaten either. And so these two things are things I'm trying to, this cabinet door's open, but these two things are two things that I really want to make my biggest focuses in 2023, is really coming back to, really embracing healthy eating and, being a healthy person in general, and then really embracing the content side and the content creator hat. And so I have 2 questions I'm going to ask myself over and over and over again this year. I feel like this is what's going to help me make those changes or really lean into those things. And one of those questions is, what would a healthy person do? What would one of those super fitnessy, it comes super easy for them to, look amazing and be super healthy people, right? What would they do in this scenario? And that's gonna help me say, okay, Jessica, you have a walking pad under your desk, like literally under this desk I'm at right now. Like maybe you should walk on the walking pad while you're editing videos. That's what a healthy guru person would do, right? And then in addition to that, what would a creator do? Because I get really in my head about the fact that I am an actual creator, that like that's a thing that I am. And sometimes I get really like, I just fall back on what I would do as a business owner trying to grow a YouTube channel to grow my business. And that's not the hat I want to be wearing. So those are 2 questions I'm going to consistently ask myself this year. And I just wanted to give y'all that little like update where I am, where I have been, all the things before we get into this fun Q&A. If it seems like I am talking fast, it is because I am trying to get this video done in the next 15 minutes so that I can go pick up my son from basketball practice. So here we are. I asked y'all for questions for this Q&A video on Instagram and here on YouTube in my community tab, and y'all delivered. You had some good questions. Definitely will not get to them all, but I'm gonna try and answer as many as I can. How do you pay yourself when you have multiple streams of income? Now, I am not an accountant. My accountant would be like, no, girl, you're not. I am not, this is not my expertise. I started college as an accounting major and quickly, within 2 classes of that accounting class, dropped all the classes that I could and still maintain full-time student status, and like quickly switched from being an accounting major to a communications major. So that being said, take this with a grain of salt, but it depends on like what stage of business you're at on how you're actually going to do this. Like, are you going to pay yourself a salary, whatever? Like right now I pay myself a salary and take owner draws from the company. But when you're just getting started, just make sure that all of your multiple streams of income that are under one business go into one account, like go into one master income account. Now, if you have multiple streams of income that are completely different and need to be taxed differently or reported differently or whatever, this is going to look different. But most of our multiple streams of income are going to in some way relate to each other and kind of be part of the same business. Like it's all part of the influencer business, or it's all part of the YouTube channel or whatever. So make sure all of those incomes are coming into one account, and then you pay yourself from that after taxes and expenses. I love this question. Love this question. What daily activities do you do to be the best version of yourself? Y'all, the sun is like in and out, and I do not have time to set up my lights, so we're just gonna deal with it, okay? Daily activities to be the best version of myself. One, always first and foremost for me is working out. I work out pretty much every day in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it's a walk, sometimes it is an actual like weight workout, sometimes it's a Peloton ride, sometimes it's a run, like it just depends. So definitely working out. The second thing that I would put in this like daily activities that I do to be my best self would be giving myself white space and creating clear boundaries in modes. Let me explain. So I guess those are 2 different things, but giving myself white space, like a lot of what I do, I need ideas flowing through my head. I need like to think through things. I need to think about my next move. I need to think about whatever. That's a lot of like the CEO hat, right? And to do that, I need to cut out all the noise. So taking walks by myself, taking baths, obviously by myself, even like driving by myself, all of those things allow me to kind of clear my head and give me the white space that I need to like push forward with what I've got going on. And then that other thing that I mentioned was to create clear boundaries in like the modes that I have to act within. I'm a mom. I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they need stuff, right? And even when they don't need stuff, they're loud if they're here and they're fighting with each other or they're arguing over something or whatever, right? And most of the time they're in school. And so it's really clear for me to be able to have like a work boundary and a mom boundary. I work while they're in school. When they get off of school, I don't work anymore. I am in mom mode. But times like this where I have a kid upstairs, one is at basketball practice and I am working, I have to have like clear boundaries or I will go crazy, because then I'm like, I don't know, I feel guilty because I'm not like with my kids, or I feel guilty because I'm not working or whatever. And for the most part, my boundaries are if my kids are home, I do not work. And that is the best for me and for them and for my business, because that keeps my head exactly where it needs to be. And so for me, clear boundaries, white space, and exercise, hands down, some of my, like, the daily activities that keep me at my best version of myself that I could not live without. And that actually leads me into another question. Somebody asked about daily routines for work from home moms with toddlers. Y'all, I have been out of the toddler stuff for a while. My kids, again, are 12 and 9. And so I've been out of this for a while. But I did build my business, built my YouTube channel, built a lot of what you see today with small children in tow. I quit my corporate job to start my web design company when my first son was an infant. My kids are 2.5 years apart, so I had another kid in there, and built my first podcast and my YouTube channel and my first 6 figures with literal toddlers around me. But I am removed from that a little bit. But I will say the biggest advice that I have for you is what I just said a second ago, to have clear boundaries in mom time and work time. And with toddlers, that's either going to be when they're in some type of childcare or, you know, someone else's care, whether it's your partner or your mom or like whoever, and when they're asleep. So for me, when my second son was 3, my dad started watching him 2 days a week while my oldest son was in school, in preschool. And so, of course, those were my work times, right? And then when he would nap on the days he was home, the other, 6 days he was home, whatever it was, that would also be my work time. So when he was awake, or if he didn't go to sleep, when I thought he should or whatever, I was in mom mode. And having those clear boundaries helped my relationship with my kids so much, because I wasn't like irritated with them because I was trying to work and they were around or whatever. But it is hard, and I want to acknowledge that. I got several digital product questions. One is, what platform is best to sell digital products on? It really depends. If you do not have a current audience, like if you do not have an audience who's going to want to buy your digital products, then I would probably start on something that already had a marketplace built in, like Etsy or Creative Market or Teacher Pay Teacher or something like that. If you have an audience already who is going to want to buy your stuff, then, having like Shopify or having them listed on your own WooCommerce site like I do, that is a really good option. So it kind of just depends on where you are with your audience. This is a really good question. Do you have a separate social media profile for personal, like family and friends? I do not. What I do, how I navigate this, is my Instagram is my personal Instagram. So my @JessicaSansbury Instagram is my personal Instagram. But it is my like influencer personal Instagram. So my kids are not like regulars on that platform, and I don't want them to be, right? And then the same thing with like really personal things or like personal accomplishments or whatever, right? That's not where that goes. But obviously, like any mom, I want to share my kids' accomplishments, or I want to share fun things that they do or whatever. And I want that for my own memories too. So what I do personally is I have Facebook, and I have just like one Facebook profile. That's my personal Facebook profile. And I do not accept friends on that Facebook profile that I don't actually know. I know that's like a business strategy to do that, but I do not do that. Okay. So one personal Facebook profile. But as soon as I accept a friend or add a new friend, they go on to one of like 2 or 3 lists. I have a local people list. I have like a work or business list. And then I have a close family and friends list. Okay. And so when I publish a status, I can choose whether or not who sees it and who doesn't. So I can be like, okay, this is a status about my kid playing basketball. I really don't need my like work people, like the people I meet, for my business or whatever, to see this. Like they don't care. So I will make it be to my close friends list or my local people's list or like whatever, right? So that's how I navigate that. But do whatever you feel like doing. Like it doesn't really matter. Someone asked my favorite farm chore. I don't do farm chores. It was in my marriage clause. No, not really. I'm joking. But that's just that's my husband's job. I've seen those TikToks where people are like, things that are totally my husband's problem and not my problem. And farm chores are one of those for us. Obviously, if I'm needed, if he's not here and something happens, or if he's not here and I need to feed something, I will. But I don't have a favorite farm chore because I don't do farm chores. So someone asked for the best camera for hobby photography. Now, I bought a new camera and I haven't told y'all about it because I haven't had a chance because I won't stop getting sick. This is the Sony a7 IV. I'm filming on the a7S III. I bought this mostly for photography. This massive lens is on it for sports. And that is not what I would recommend because it is very expensive. But I would recommend the Sony ZV-E10. I'm not sure that's right. I'll pop the right name right here and make sure it's linked below. But it is a budget-friendly option that still gives you the chance to like switch out the lenses. Which, if you're wanting to get into hobby photography, lenses are so important, and like especially if you're wanting to learn more about cameras. So that's a really good one to start with, like a body, and then you have to buy a lens. That's way cheaper than something like that. But again, I'll make sure it's linked below. My husband came home in just the right amount of time to go get my kid from basketball. So I can finish answering these questions and not have to rush through this. Yay. Do you think you'll add more lifestyle stuff to your YouTube? Yes. Yes, this has been, I really want to do this. And this is part of leaning into the creator hat. Like, what would a creator do? Because for me, it's just like, I'm going to sit in my office and I'm going to film videos, but a creator would like take the camera with them and film in that way. And I have been wanting to do that for months and months. It's just been one of those things where life has gotten in the way. Like, y'all were supposed to see a vlog of my trip to New York City, but I didn't go to New York City because I got sick. And it's a muscle that I have to work to remember to film more personal things, because that's never really been like the point of my channel. But yes, absolutely yes, definitely more lifestyle stuff into my YouTube. And actually very, very soon you will be seeing a vlog of us going to get our new puppy. So I'm getting a Bernedoodle, and we have to drive 6 hours away towards my sister-in-law's house and 6 hours back, obviously, to get this puppy, and we're doing it this weekend. And so I'm definitely going to vlog that whole thing. So excited. I have wanted one of these dogs for years, and my kids have wanted an inside dog for years because we live on a farm. We have outside dogs. Like y'all know, we have puppies that are outside. We have Darla, who we've had for years. She's like 6 or 7 now. And then we have Badger, who's my husband's like farm dog. But we're getting a puppy for like an inside dog, like how traditional people have dogs, not farm dogs. So I'm really excited. My kids are really excited. I'm gonna vlog that. But overall, yes, absolutely. I have a ton of really fun ideas to start incorporating more lifestyle stuff into my YouTube channel, but I just have to execute on it. Some of it I'm waiting on stuff to like happen. Some of it I need to like just do. But yes, hands down, yes. Oh, and someone asked, I think the same person said, tell me about your husband's YouTube channel. So my husband had a YouTube channel. It is still up. I don't even know that the videos are public though. I feel like he unlisted them because he was uncomfortable with them, because he's just not super comfortable being on video like I am. But he had a YouTube channel about the farm, and he would like vlog and stuff like that. But the biggest thing I will say he's doing right now is Instagram, and he's not doing that much, but you can always go check it out. And that is, I think it's 3 Corners Farms NC. I'll type it here, is his Instagram. Sometimes he posts shenanigans over there. Some of these questions y'all submitted would be really good video ideas. So I'm literally taking some of these questions and like putting them in my idea bank, because they need a whole video, not just like 2 seconds of me answering them. There's several questions from young kid mamas too, who were like, how did you find time to work on your business when your kids were really young? Hopefully my answer meant to go help that, but just know I feel you. I see you. I understand you. And also, you will not get the same amount of stuff done that people who don't have kids will. That is something I had to come to terms with. And that was a weird one for me, because I'm like really driven and I want to do these things. And a lot of the people that I watch or, you know, give me inspiration do not have kids, or they are the male partner in the relationship who just ultimately doesn't have as many responsibilities as the mom, right? So that's just all there is to it. So just give yourself grace and understand that like you will not be able to get as much done as someone who doesn't have small kids, especially, and that's okay. You need to be like gentle with yourself and just figure out what is okay and what is a normal amount of things for you and what is good for you to like aim towards. Advice for finding a small group of friends who can relate to being a creator and message back and forth. Oh my gosh. Y'all know I live in a small town, and so especially in the beginning, but still now, I don't have anybody here locally to just be like, oh, you want to grab coffee and like commiserate on all the that goes into being a business owner or content creator, because there aren't any others, at least at the level that I do it. There are others, just not where I live. And so I am a master at finding online friends. And I will say the best thing you can do is just jump in and get to know people who are on like a similar level to you. So this could be Facebook groups. So you get in a Facebook group full of people who are your peers, or, you know, maybe not full of people who are your peers, but your peers are in there, and just like have conversations in that group and be like, I'd love to have a coffee chat, and nothing is expected of you. I'm trying to make friends, and like get on Zoom and have a coffee chat with these people. The same thing goes for Instagram. Like if you follow somebody on Instagram or TikTok who's in like a similar place to you, reach out and be like, hey, I would love to chat. I feel like we would get along. Can we have a coffee chat? Now, reaching out to people who are, you know, who have much bigger audiences or things like that is probably not going to work, because they did this in the early stages of their business. So stick with people who are similar to you, and hopefully that can find you a good group of friends. I travel and meet and hang out with online friends more than I do friends from here. Now, my trip to New York City was supposed to be with friends from here. So clearly the universe doesn't want me to keep my friends from here. I don't know. Thoughts on YouTube Shorts monetization and how that'll impact YouTube? Y'all, I don't like shorts. Nope. No, sorry, Bob. I get asked this question a lot. I'll get asked this question by people in my programs where I teach YouTube. I get asked this question obviously on social media. I do not like shorts, and here's why. It is going to be easier. If you want to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, hands down 100%, it will be easier right now in this current climate of YouTube to do shorts and get there. Like, hands down. It will take you a shorter amount of time to get to 100,000 subscribers with shorts than it will with longs or whatever you want to call this type of video. But there's a massive difference, okay? The way that YouTube Shorts monetization works is that they split the ad revenue from this particular ad that is happening, you know, between your shorts and someone else's shorts with you and that other person. So just from the jump, you are getting less money than you would, you know, having them just run on your videos, right? But secondarily to that, advertisers aren't spending as much money on a short commercial as they are on one that goes on a long video. Plus, there are trending audio copyright fees that have to be paid out. And I have seen the back end of shorts channels and longs channels a lot of times, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that if you have 100,000 subscribers from doing YouTube Shorts and you have 100,000 subscribers from doing longs or long videos like this, you will be making 10 to 100x more money from the longs than the shorts. So you're looking at, you know, oh, I grew my channel to 100,000 subscribers with shorts and I make $100 a month from YouTube. Versus I grew my channel to 100,000 subscribers by doing regular long form content and I make about $3,000 a month. Like, it is going to be that stark of a difference. So that's one reason I personally don't love shorts, because you're growing a channel that's going to look good with vanity numbers but isn't actually going to do much for you on the money side on all ends. So not just from like what YouTube pays you, but it's going to be much harder to convert people to, you know, your paid products or whatever on a short than it is a long, and all the things. Secondarily to that, and maybe more important, the people who subscribe from shorts do not want to watch longs. Okay? So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to be a YouTuber in the traditional sense, I want to, you know, create videos like this one or whatever, but I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do a bunch of shorts to try and grow my channel so that when I start creating longs, people are there, they're not gonna watch them. And then you're going to have this like stark difference between your subscriber number and your view count. Like, it's going to be a huge difference because nobody that came in through those shorts are going to want to watch your longs. Okay? I personally do see channels growing with shorts. I see it every day. I see my own clients growing with shorts. I see shorts taking off for my friends. However, I do not think it is really worth it, nor is it something I care about. If I want to do short form content, I'm going to do it on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and that's that. The cool part about YouTube too is like this, like on Instagram, for instance, if you want to grow, you have to do short form content. You have to do short form videos. You have to do that, right? You have to do reels, because they have said, you know what? You can post pictures, but like, we don't give a shit. If you want to grow, you're going to have to post reels. Like, that is what Instagram has said, right? So they have basically taken away what made them a platform and said, you have to do this other thing. YouTube has not done that. YouTube is like, hey, you're gonna grow whether you post longs or shorts. Our algorithm is not out to get you if you don't do shorts. So you can totally have success the same as you could a year ago or 2 years ago with YouTube longs and not have to do shorts. You don't have to do them. And I do love that about YouTube. I do love that YouTube has said, you know, like, we're not just gonna like only show shorts, but obviously do what feels good for you. Like, it's going to be dependent on what your goals are, what your long-term goals are, and what you feel best doing. Is it hard to start a podcast? How would you go about starting one? No, it is probably the easiest thing you can do. Now, let me bust a myth here. Podcasts are not a discoverable platform. Do some people have success with that? Yes, but it is not a discoverable platform as a whole, and especially when you compare it to something like YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And what I mean by that is, if you are trying to grow your audience and you have no audience, like you're starting from zero or very low, likely a podcast is not going to be the answer to all your problems, because the way that podcasts are discovered, the way that podcasts show up, the way that podcasts are listened to, they do not lend themselves well to being a discoverable platform. There's no like good searching in it. There's no good anything in podcasting like there is in Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Like, most of the time for people to find your podcast, they need to have heard about you somewhere else. So understand that podcasting is not really a discoverable platform. Again, it happens. Like, people will discover you, but it's not near the level that you could get discovered on something else. And if that is okay with you, podcasting is one of the easiest things ever. You need a mic and you need to like record your audio into some device, your computer, your phone, whatever. And then you need a podcast host like Libsyn, which is what I use. It's really freaking easy. If you'll just Google how to start a podcast, you'll see how easy it is. Okay, just a few more questions. Can you give a full rundown of your current equipment list or behind the scenes shot at your office? So I did this recently when I organized my office. Oh, it is getting so dark in here because it's about to rain. But I did this recently when I did like an organize my office with me video. So there is a list of everything I use on that and like a behind the scenes shot of how I film and what I use and all the things. But also my equipment list is always in my description of my videos. So I have this camera, I have this lens, I have the lights I use. I'm not using any lights right now, but I have the lights I use, I have the mics I use, all of that is always down there. This question is perfect for today, okay? What do you do when you feel stuck or unmotivated to create content or just in life in general? That's how I felt. I just have felt the last month especially stuck. Like, it's like my brain won't like fire when it comes to content ideas. It won't, like, I feel, I recorded this whole Q&A before. Like, I recorded this entire video before, and I was so low energy because I was just like, and I have felt like that all month. Not necessarily low energy, just like, almost like my brain is like it's stuck. Like the cogwheels are stuck, you know? How like the cogwheels work, you know? Like, oh, this is my brain, and it's stuck. I don't know. And I have felt that way with everything. I'm not motivated to do anything. And I think a lot of that is just the time of year. It's really cold here, which is not cold here today, but normally it's really cold here. And my kids are home, and so my schedule is off. And then I was sick. Y'all, in the month of December, I had my first migraine in 5 years. I don't know what they're called, but I have like the stroke symptom migraines, the ones that like mimic a stroke. But I know what causes them. I know my triggers, and I haven't had one in 5 years. Had one in December, but it was weird because it was only the visual stuff. I never got pain or anything. It was very strange. But all of that to say, December has just been a crazy month. And I think that like that has been really hard for me to have any motivation, because every time I turn around, something is like knocking me over. Something is, stopping me in my tracks. Something is stopping me from being able to do the things I had planned to do that day. So I think one, give yourself grace. Like, that is a big thing for me. I'm always like, okay, it's okay. It won't last forever. Like, yes, I had to redo my schedule today because my kid woke up sick, but like, it won't last forever. Or yeah, I can't do the thing I thought I was going to do because I have a migraine or whatever, but it won't last forever. Or that kind of thing. So I always give myself grace. But secondarily to that, when I'm feeling really unmotivated, I come back to the core reason why I do what I do. And I remember like why I'm doing what I'm doing for myself, but also for y'all, right? So like for myself, I love to create content. And so it's super fun for me and I love it. And I have to come back to that. And like, what can I create that's going to make me fall back in love with sitting in front of the camera or like doing the things, right? And then two, remembering why I'm doing it as a whole. I want to inspire you to be a full-time creator. I want to inspire you guys to be able to, quit that shitty job and like go create content for a living. I want to be that inspiration for you. So like, how can I do that? And then the third thing that I will do is to take a walk by myself. I talked about this earlier, but walks are magical. And for me, a lot of times I even have to get out of my own environment and go somewhere else. So I have a walking park like a couple of miles away. I can walk just fine here at my house. However, my dog goes with me. There's people driving up and down the road. We don't have sidewalks, that kind of thing. And so sometimes that is not the best environment for me to clear my head. So sometimes I'll go to the walking trail and I will walk there. But walks with nothing in my ears, no music, no podcasts, no audiobooks, like nothing in my ears, and giving myself something to think about. Like, okay, I need to create content. Let's think about that. And like, that's all I'm allowed to think about on that walk. That helps tremendously. But honestly, it all comes down to giving yourself grace because like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to have a month or 2 months or 3 months where you just are like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying and I feel not motivated at all and I suck so bad and everybody's better than me and it is what it is. You're going to have that happen, but you've got to snap yourself out of it and you also have to like understand that like everybody goes through that. Okay, this is going to be the last question and then I'm signing off. When you're starting out on YouTube, should you start with videos you love or videos you know others will love? What a good freaking question. And it's a mix. So Sarah Dietschy did a video years ago, and I don't remember, I think it was just called One for Me, One for Them, One for Them, One for Me, something like that. And basically it was this concept that's like how she goes about content is one for them that she knows they will love, and one for her, one that she's going to love creating. And I don't know that it needs to be a 50-50 split, especially in the beginning, because you said when you're starting out on YouTube. I honestly think it needs to be more of like a 60-40 or 80-20 split where 80% of your content or 60% of your content, the majority of your content, needs to be stuff you know that they will love, stuff that you know is going to do well, stuff that you know is going to do well in search, that kind of thing. And then the other 20 or 40% is going to be stuff that you love. And then as your channel grows and as you gain like a loyal audience, that can start to flip, that can start to change. People will start to like want more of you just because it's you. And that's a really cool feeling. So I would say do a mix. At first, it's going to be more stuff they love and less stuff you love. And then eventually I'd love to see it like level out to where it's stuff you love, it's stuff they love, and hopefully the two meet together and there's a lot of videos where it's stuff they'll love and stuff you love. Whew. All right, there were definitely more questions, but we're gonna sign off because I need to film another video because I've got to get myself back on the freaking wagon, and this video is long enough. You do not need to watch me for any longer in one video. So let me just say Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Happy stopping being stuck. Seems like that was a theme. Like we're gonna stop being stuck. We're gonna start moving forward. We're gonna start thinking about what a creator would do. And 2023 is gonna be our year, y'all. I feel it in my heart. Bye.